Hi all and welcome back to an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you all. I'm Aspie and I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life stories with Aspieanswers syndrome and mental health and tips and tricks along the way. So if you're into any of these and more, feel free to follow me by subscribing on the bottom right hand corner to join me on the bandwagon, and if you decide to, feel free to turn on the notification bell. It will be much appreciated so that you can keep up to date with those future videos that will keep rolling. So, as you're aware by the name of the title, 5 things I hate about being an autistic. Yes, I've done one before based on the positivity about me with Aspieanswers syndrome, which I'll link in the description below. Hearsay. And without further ado, guys, though, this is just going to be just a second part of it, just to illustrate to you guys, because obviously sometimes we need to clarify to ourselves, you know, what we like and dislike, don't we? As you guys are aware also, for me, being a typical Aspie, I'm usually a bright, cheerful, kind of positive young woman that's always loud and proud, shouting out on the rooftops, I'm proud to be Aspie, proud to be Aspie. I am loud and proud to say that I'm proud of being an Aspie, because obviously I wouldn't change it for the world, because obviously it's made me who and what I am as a person today, as a young woman, despite my flaws and imperfections all along the way as well, because obviously, you know, everybody has their flaws and imperfections, right? Because obviously it's all about accepting it, which hopefully later in the piece I'll be talking more about accepting our autism. So if you're into that, please sit tight. It should be ready to go in the next few days, hopefully. I am proud to be who I am today, being an Aspie, because obviously it has shaped me to become who I am for you guys, being in the autistic mental advocate support person versus also people on the mental health spectrum. And I'm hoping and saying this with my support and mentoring and guiding you guys to make you a better person. Saying this, the attributes and traits that comes with it, with the positives that I shared, I am actually proud of, even though basically many people may tend to agree to disagree, that's fine. But I want to ask you guys, while you're watching this, maybe feel free to comment below some of the stuff that you don't like being an autistic, but keep it civil down there. And also in retrospect, just to maybe put down as another open discussion board the opposite ones, like your positive of what you're happy about being an autistic. Now, you're going to be wondering how many things I'm going to share with you all tonight based on the negatives, right? Well, I'm hoping to do the top 5. Some may agree to disagree, right? Because obviously, like, we have all our differences of opinion, but again, matter of respecting each other's differences. Number 1 is your sensory reciprocity. As we know, for most of us autistic, many people have the tendency to have that misconception for the sake of touch, sight, and what have you, of these 5 classic senses, that we're fussy eaters, we're just fussy about our fashion sense and whatever it may be, right? Well, for me, in the way of the sensory, for me, for one, lighting. Certain lighting can affect my mood, my temperament, my touch. I get a bit dizzy, disorientated, loss of thought, hearsay sometimes if it's too bright. So some days I might end up, you know, depending where I am, end up wearing my sunglasses, and people will think, what the hell is Aspie? Is for the senses is sounds. Some of the sounds that goes to the state of overdrive for me, leading to a meltdown or stimming, some form of other meltdown stages that I clearly addressed in one of my videos, which I'll link in the description below, as well as the iBar, about the stages of meltdowns that I go through on a particular daily, or just certain days when it gets too overwhelming for me. So in saying this though, for the sounds, hearsay, as we know that some sounds that are too much together, be it noisy background, a classic example, if I was sitting in a cafe and it's noisy, even though I'm trying to withhold myself sometimes with me for a meltdown stage, like you've got the noisy background of a chitter chat of people around me, then you've got basically, in saying this, people talking versus the clatter of the dishes, maybe from the back end of the cafe shop of the staff working there, as well as maybe just basically dishes clattering around me when I'm socializing, hearsay, trying to focus on every other hubbub, and sometimes it's hard to filter out the noise, and then with that intact, sensory overload comes with that meltdown. Similar way for my sight, certain basically, shall we say, mixture of sounds also causes me to have headache as well, which I am really sensitive to noise, obviously, because I get tingling of the ears sometimes when it's super loud. and then, you know, it seems to want to hide away sometimes, and many people think I'm being rude and whatnot when I have my meltdowns. But what I clearly addressed earlier in one of my videos, of my autistic related videos, is that I am not being rude. I try my hardest to explain to you guys when a meltdown is coming, even though sometimes many people think I'm an embarrassment to them when it does happen in public. But that's fine. Hopefully we can create that understanding. Be it the noise versus the sight taste factor, especially for the sake of the taste. Some foods I used to enjoy doesn't agree with me anymore, sadly. Reject the food completely, and maybe in some ways also I've noticed now that some of the foods I enjoy I tend to have allergy of. On the list is social interaction. Social interaction, as we know, is an important key ingredient for anybody, not just for autistics, hearsay, but everybody that we meet. I know for a fact that in saying this though, some autistics may be better at socializing by communicating, reading visual cues. I'm starting to be one of them. Once upon a time, I was having problems trying to differentiate people's, you know, thought patterns versus their actions through what they're saying, because obviously it doesn't match fit. And also in saying this, for me, as I shared many times before, when it comes down to me communicating to you guys, sometimes I was afraid what to say and how to say it, of the social norm, what's the right way to say it, and that, so I don't get into trouble or offend others around me, which sadly I'm sure that many autistics that I know of will agree with this from what I'm sharing with you all. As they say, with the way my brain works, my mouth engages before the brain, which is sad but true. But like, you know, it's a classic Kiwi thing, maybe an autistic / other condition thing. I speak so fast, which hopefully in due time it's still a work in progress. We'll need to slow down for you guys, especially when I'm so hyper and excited for certain information that I want to share with you all based on my interests or obsessions when it comes down to it. Sometimes also when it comes down to social interaction, to add this, I may come out as a shy person when I meet you first and foremost out on the street, you know, when I try to engage a conversation with you. Sometimes I might look down, sometimes I may appear socially awkward or shy. But bear in mind, these two terms, socially awkward and shy, means two different things. When it comes down to it, that comes rolling into my social anxiety. I'll link that about the differences between social awkwardness versus shy, as well as maybe a few links to about social anxiety with my life story, how I go about it, you know, and whatnot in the description, and above me also. If you want to find out more on that before you want to continue to watch this video, feel free to pause the video and click on the links either above or below. Society. It's a given that people have their own opinions, their own thoughts, beliefs, values and morals, right? I'm not going to raise any fingers or criticize or judge anyone for this part I'm sharing with you all, because we know that we can be all ignorant and arrogant in our own right. Even though so many people may think this is what they believe and this is the one way or the highway, you know, sort of thing, which is kind of wrong, I feel. People on and off the spectrum, be it on the mental health group that I've been with, or even in the autistic like groups, it has been supportive on me, accepting me for me as well, which I'm humble and honoured to actually be in people's lives, that I'm sharing my life stories and journeying with you guys by opening the world around me of what life is like. The fear of maybe getting judged, criticised, feeling rejected, feeling excluded from the group, regardless what groups we may be in, which is sad, but it's a sad fact and reality out there that the world can be cruel for certain people with different conditions, not just mental health disorders, people on the spectrum like me, it's everyone around us. Certain misconceptions based on their belief patterns, I believe as well, that autism can be basically based on bad parenting, or we should be curing autism and the like. Before I want to say something to you guys, I would like to ask you guys, in saying this, those two things I said about of people misconceiving us as autistics, is there any other misconceptions you would like to address to the audience tonight? And if so, link them in the description to open the conversation. Sometimes also in saying this can be annoying to be said how we should be looking like, you know, if we're, even though many people may have also another one of number 3, shall we say, of the top of the list I can think of, you don't look autistic. This is really common for most of us, you know. Or another one is, why don't you act normal like every other normal? So in saying this, sometimes some of us, when it comes down to these judgment calls of people with their everyday misconception, we feel like we're being judged or looked upon and whatever else. But in saying this, we should be able to accept one another, to include one another, and actually motivate one another and uplift one another. And not number 4, change for me can mean anything. Even though I have shared some examples in some of the change series of Autism and Change, like moving house for example, or a change of scenery of a new environment. Also, in saying that of a new environment, besides moving house, could be if something new is like getting a new job or just working with new people, and sometimes it comes to the point, you know, being somewhere unfamiliar. Familiar territory equals to my social anxiety might come about, as well as my attacks, hearsay, even if people may think, you know, again, it's all in my head and I'm still crazy, which I'm not, but this is how I work. You know, so in saying this, the Autism and Change series also will be listed either in the description or the other above me also. So feel free again to stop this video at any time to check that out to understand more of us autistics, and feel free to come back to this part of the video. I want to give you guys advice about change. Change is good for most of us, not just us autistics, right? We need to embrace it and accept it, because obviously in saying this, you know, in the world of change, it can bring out the best of us, as well as the ugly of us. Sometimes it can prepare us for like big adventures, even if it means that it's still difficult for us to this point of time though, however, to just get out there and socialize with others. Sometimes, in saying this for the sake of change, when we feel that a certain given situation that isn't working, we can ask ourselves, if we want to, instead of dwelling on it for too long, we can ask ourselves the questions: why wasn't it working? How can I fix it? If you are willing to fix it, and if it involves a particular someone, here's our classic one, a relationship that you were working with your boss or whoever it may be, you know, to accept the differences and maybe come to a mutual agreement and a bit of a balance and compromise maybe. We have to also learn to maybe let go, move forward, and not look back even if it didn't work in the first place. It will actually build us up with our character, testing us on all different levels, mind, spirit, and soul. You know, are we ready to accept the changes? For me, and I'm sure many other autistics, is being treated differently. How often do we get told basically, or what have you, besides the one I clearly addressed, that we don't look autistic, can't you act your age, see things differently, basically taste things differently, you know, speak differently, but I don't want to be fitted into a little box, shall we say, full of you guys' high expectations and standards. If you can't accept me for me, that's gonna be a big issue for us to come into tact, but I'm sure we can compromise one way or another. Sometimes, just as a tip and advice before I end this, is ask how I am, you know, just don't assume just because you think us autistics are the same level of understanding. Do your research about autistics, you know, or even get to know some autistics either through YouTube or in your community groups, if you've got any in your local area. As I said before, that many people make the assumption or judgment call that we're all the same, which we're not. We are all different and unique. A few times when I was growing up as a young teen or mid-teen, I used to be catcalled, I used to be wolf whistled at by young immature guys. Also, in saying this, while I was growing up as a middle teen, I had some degrading names being called upon. Quickly ends, hopefully, 5 things about what I didn't like about being autistic. Smash the like if you liked it, comment below for those answers, hopefully to open that discussion board if you want to join me for that. Much appreciated, but as I said, be civil, because everybody will have their differences of opinion, so we should respect each other's differences. Before, I have been doing a crowdfunding page for the last almost now leading up to 4 months now, not 2, that I'm hoping to do future projects, be it like inviting some of you guys on my channel and some other bits that I have clearly shared. And also, in saying this, I'll link it in the iBar above me or below me about that video, so that you can actually follow through what it's all about that project if you want to know more. And if you're willing to support me, feel free to donate to the cause, hopefully, because it's my way of giving back to you guys. For the newbies out there who are watching today, Patreon is a crowdfunding site for creators like me, as well as musicians and everyone else that wants to create what they want to do, be it music or what have you, or some other thing that they're passionate about, to give back to the community. Don't forget to share these videos around to family and friends, as well as also following me on my social medias for more, hopefully, future updates that I'm going to post up to you guys, as well as maybe future another update video.